Hi guys, today we're taking a look at our long-legged ants. The colony is living in this Por Amor Art's ant nest, and since they have moved in, they have grown faster than ever. Hidden in the shadows, the Royal Highness is still working hard. With new eggs and young larvae scattered around the nest, they are not planning to slow down their growth. Throughout the nest, workers can be seen tending to the young. Eggs are lifted and kept safe. Larvae all over are being cleaned, fed, and moved around. The colony has come so far since the day they were dying out, just a mere year ago. Now, eggs, larvae, and pupae can be seen throughout the nest. This also means that the once spacious nest has, in a matter of a few months, turned into a cramped room. The ant colony is more active and searches for more food than ever before, with 15 to 20 workers always hanging out in the outworld. In the outworld, workers can be seen searching for food. While following some of the workers, some interesting worker ants were also spotted. 2 workers were sadly walking around with a dangling gaster, and another one without one. I'm unsure how this happened, but it's definitely not a sight we want to see. But our long-legged ant colony craves more space, and I can inform you that the call for more space has been answered. So although this setup have worked wonders and helped the colony reach an even greater number, I need something bigger, and I might know a guy. Hello, Aesthetic. I've heard you're working on a new nest lineup. Is that anything I can try?
Yeah, no worries. I got you going, Holleufer.
Perfect.
Alright, Holleufer, have fun.
Thank you very much, Aesthetic. Let's just see right here. Oh, this is good. It's a little big though.
Too big? Well, alright. Yeah, here's a medium instead. Perhaps that will suit your ants a little bit better.
Alright, a little bit smaller I see. Yeah, that's much more like it. Thank you very much, Esthetic. There'll be a link and a discount in the description down below. Let's move the ants into this nest. With the new setup, it's time to move the ants. If you want to hear my first thoughts of these nests, I'll leave a link to a full unboxing in the description down below. Very nicely looking nest. Of course, it has this 3D printing around here, so this is all 3D printing. It's always different to see a nest in real life and judge the size of it. And after a night of thinking, I decided to go with the bigger nest. This new aesthetic ants nest is quite a bit bigger, and there's no places for the ants to hide inside. So it will be very interesting to get a proper colony member idea, as it's been very hard in the past to count the workers. The new nest is based on a Ytong block where added water gets sucked up and slowly evaporates into the nest, creating a humid area for our ant colony. So with that in mind, let's move our long-legged ants into the nest. As this colony is extremely heat happy, my plan was to simply relocate the heat from their old nest onto their new nest. Now here at first I'm standing the nest upright, which I'd later change due to personal preferences. But it's a nice addition that the nest can be used in both ways. After connecting the nest, it doesn't take long for the first worker to investigate this new addition. As I knew this tube connection was temporary, I decided not to cut the tube, and the workers then has to walk quite a bit further. But it did not stop the workers. After only a few minutes, the first worker is standing right at the nest entrance. But she turns around and returns. This is most likely due to the new unknown Ytong material. But it doesn't take long before the first worker ant enters the nest. With caution, she explores. With her sensitive antennae, she smells the new area and runs back, leaving a pheromone down, telling her other workers that there's something new and interesting to see. And only a few minutes later, the nest is filling up with investigating ants, and no corners are left unchecked. It's vital for an ant colony to judge the nest properly before starting a move, as moving ant brood can be deadly for an ant colony. There is simply no greater threat than moving the Royal Highness and all the next generations of workers. So for now, workers are investigating, and we will check back on them later. It's now 2 days later, and the entire colony has moved. Most of the ants moved overnight, but on day 2, the queen followed. She cautiously moved through the vinyl tubing. The tube was just big enough for her to move through, but it seemed my light spooked her as she reversed back into the old nest. Upon later examination, she had relocated into the new nest. With the Royal Highness inside, we could disconnect the old setup and replace the small tube with a bigger one. With that, this setup is now all aesthetic ants. Hydration wise, it's still a guessing game to avoid condensation, but there's still lots to see inside the nest. The nest is at the moment a little on the big side, but as shown earlier, the colony is growing quickly and I expect them to fill it out nicely soon. This long-legged ant colony has always been a bit on the scarce side of light vibration, and upon movements, it seems they don't feel safe yet in the nest, as they often go crazy upon me recording them. But some sugar water always seems to help the cause. In the past, I've struggled to find a sugar solution they've liked. Rather, it would be honey, a sugar water blend, or something else. But it seems this Antics sugar snaps always gets the attention of the ant colony. With a drop added, the workers switch their focus. The hunt is over, sugar has been served. In only minutes, workers from all directions settle around the drop, slurping up all the precious sugar. A roach is also fed, and the ants give just as an immediate response. Workers are eager to find a way into the meat, biting and pulling from all sides. And with this chaotic view, the nest has also received the news of food. With the nest entrance as busy as it can be. The colony is in all food mode, and although it seems chaotic, the colony is working as hard as they can. The nest has quite narrow chambers, and it's not something the colony is used to yet, but they still seem quickly to manage to drag their food from outside and throughout the nest. The long-legged ant colony always tries to drag their food into the nest and insert the larvae directly on the protein source. It's a fascinating sight to behold, as larvae are transported directly to the food source. I'm really surprised how this colony have just grown this year. This is a clip from October the 3rd, 2021. With just 7 workers, it didn't look good. But today, well, there's more than I can count. In this big nest, it's really fascinating to follow the workers place the brood around the nest. The brood are the eggs, the larvae, and the pupae. The pupae are located directly on the heat source, and that just shows how the ants put the pupae directly on the perfect environment. Not too hot and not too cold. Lower down in the nest, it's a lot more humid as it's right next to the hydration chamber. Down here, we see the eggs and the larvae. Both eggs and larvae like it a little bit more humid, and it's just fascinating to see that what you read online fits with what you see in real life. A hot top with a lot of pupae, a humid bottom with a lot of larvae and eggs. I'm really just fascinated in following the workers around, finally being able to maintain the colony just as they want. I'm really just excited to see how this colony will grow faster next year. Once the colony grows out of this nest, I've built them a naturalistic setup. With a desert theme, I'm really looking forward to moving the colonies in and seeing them interact with proper dirt and sand like they would do in the wild. But that's something for next year. Before you go, I want to say thank you for all the support lately. I've made up a little giveaway to say thank you, and you now have a chance to win a small, medium or large Aesthetic Ants Ytong nest. All you have to do to win is to explain what your dream species is in the comments, and I will choose the best comment 2 weeks from the video release date that will win an Aesthetic Ants Ytong nest. And again, if you want a discount code to Aesthetic Ants, it will be shown in the description down below. Most of all, I'm really just impressed that the colony managed to survive the dark days. If you want to hear a full story, I'll put a link in the description down below for a playlist where you can see all my videos on this ant colony. With that, I want to say thank you for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!